Yo, I'm Troy, this is TM Fitness. So once again, answering a question that was raised by a poll in my free Facebook group, the Recreational Athletes. So protein seems to be a big stumbling block, and so does adherence. Well, I've covered both of those topics recently, so I'm not going to talk specifically about those things, but just to say, like, if you're on a fitness journey and you've been set a specific dietary recommendation, in this case a protein target by your coach or by yourself, if you've got the knowledge to do that, and you're still struggling to hit that amount, you've got to ask yourself why am I not doing this? And if adherence is a problem for you in general, it's the same thing. Why am I not adhering to this? So you've obviously set yourself some fitness goals, maybe one, maybe two or three, who knows, or you're at least thinking about these goals. So you've got to then kind of reverse engineer that process. What is it going to take to get to that point? What are the processes that I've put in place to help me achieve that goal? So if you've already done that, great. But if you're now at the point where you're like, well, I'm struggling to stick to this, and if one of those processes is eating an adequate amount of protein to match your goals and your activity at appropriate times in the day, and you're not doing that, then why? So I think this kind of comes back to the self-determination theory. So you've got to have three things in place to achieve self-determination, and that is competence, relatedness, and autonomy. So competence is kind of it's a sense of effectiveness, of sufficient control of your environment and the factors within that are going to help you to achieve your goal. So you need to control your food environment if you're trying to hit protein goals. Okay, so what are the factors that are preventing you from doing that? What is the situation you're in that means that your food environment isn't set up the way it should be, and what can you do to affect that and improve that? When we're talking about relatedness, it's in terms of relationships and close relationships, in this case, or an attachment to the process. So do you not feel attached to this process? Have you set yourself unrealistic goals? I mean, I've done enough posts about goal setting. Go back and look at that stuff and reanalyze. Are your goals unrealistic? Are they not intrinsic? Are you looking at external factors like, recognition and fame and fortune, but not intrinsic factors like health and self-satisfaction and self-esteem and those kind of things? And then autonomy is literally like a sense of self-governance, the ability to be able to do things freely without interference from external factors. So competence, relatedness, autonomy. If you don't have those three things, you're not going to be adherent to any of your goals, and you're not going to be hitting those protein targets if that is one of those goals. So maybe you need to go back to the foundations. Like I say, go back, reassess your goals. Are they realistic? Are they time bound? Are they meaningful to you, etc., etc.? Set in place the processes. So you need to look at what the barriers are to achieving change, and then start removing or changing those barriers, putting in processes in place to help you overcome those barriers. Build the foundations, and then start building the journey up from there, piling on the fitness and the health processes that are going to help you achieve the goal. Focus on the process. So going back to the initial point, if protein, being adherent and consistent with your protein intake is a problem, so let's break that down a bit. Why? So is it because you don't have competence? So do you not understand why you need to be eating that amount of protein, whatever the set amount is? Do you not understand how? Do do you not understand the composition of food? So you're confused about how to source these sources of protein from your diet. You know, do you not relate to this? Does it feel like unusual to you? Is there some kind of resistance towards eating more of these types of foods? And then do you feel like it's out of your control because, I don't know, maybe you don't cook, maybe you can't cook, you know, so maybe you're just having food cooked for you, or you're buying food and you don't know how to, or you're making poor choices, or you don't know how to choose foods that are going to help you hit that goal. So those are some of the things that might be influencing your inability to complete this process on a regular basis. So you need to do the analysis of you, your thought process, your lifestyle, your environment, reassess your goals, replan your processes, build it back up from the bottom. And if you're still struggling, then maybe you've just set goals that don't relate to you, that, you know, maybe you need to be doing things slightly differently. Maybe the goals you're setting don't mean anything to you, but they don't resonate with you on an intrinsic level. Maybe you're doing it to appease an audience or a person or a group or whatever. So yeah, not a definitive answer for that one. It's more of a kind of a question. Do a little bit of soul searching and see if you can get to the bottom of what the resistance is to this aspect of change and why you're not doing it. Okay, catch you later.